earned your spot on WrestleMania. All right. It's not, let's get everybody on the show because we want everybody to have the experience of WrestleMania. If you're not good enough to get on the show and your storyline, your angle, and your whatever it is that you're doing is not, drawing enough attention to make it to the main card of WrestleMania, you're not on. And I don't want to watch 6 hours of matches that half of them nobody cares about. It's still a 3 to 4 hour show is what they should do. You put on the people that are working hard, that are having the best matches and having the best storylines and the best angles, make the titles mean something, and that's it. And I'm sorry if, Zack Ryder or somebody doesn't get on the card because he's not in an angle that people care about. Maybe it's time for him to go do something different, and several other guys too. And I think that's the big thing. If you're going to have NXT as a feeder system and bring them up to the main roster, you have to create space for them to be themselves and have time on TV. And that's, I think, to me, it needs to kind of go back towards that, where you're drawing people in with storylines and characters. And if they're not getting over, then you're not on TV anymore. Like, that's the bottom line.
I agree with everything you just said. And speaking of people like letting people be themselves, like, for example, the Briscoe brothers, just take them for example. Like the Briscoe brothers 7 or 8 years ago had a trial with WWE, and they told they weren't cosmetically pleasing. Is that what the word was?
I believe that was the term. Yeah.
Guess what? You're never going to get Jay and Mark Briscoe to read a teleprompter and cut a promo. You know why? Because Jay and Mark Briscoe are the most believable people of their characters that I've ever seen in my entire life. Do you know why? Because that's who they are. When Mark Briscoe and Jay Briscoe cut a promo, you believe everything they said. We watched that promo the other day. I thought he was going to kill the Young Bucks. You know why? Because he said it and he looked it and he believed it. And that's what people, and I think people are afraid to do that right now because you have to answer to so many different people backstage. Everybody's got an opinion on what you should be doing, but that's not how you get people over. And I think what you said about creativity and NXT, like they just brought, like, for example, Gallows and Anderson have been off TV for 4 months. Why can't somebody like a Randy Orton do that? You work your house shows, you do your spot shows even, but like we don't need a steady diet of you. We don't need a steady diet of anybody who's not in the main event title picture. Have him. It's okay to not be on the top, because wrestling is cyclical. You'll be back on top again. I'm sure you're Randy Orton, but just because for a year, 6, 10, 12 months, maybe you're in the opening match or, you're doing a different angle. Like people need to, I know Vince likes lifers. He likes people to be in the organization forever. But like you said, a Zack Ryder, there's nothing more Zack Ryder can do. Love Zack Ryder. Woo, internet champion. Gotcha. Well, you're wasting your time. At this point, I shouldn't say you're wasting your time because if your goal is to collect a paycheck and make money for your family and you're comfortable with what you're doing right now, then that's great. But I don't want to come off crass here, but don't complain about it then. If you're going to sit there and you're going to do the same thing over and over and over, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. If you're out there and you're grabbing the brass rings and you're putting on great matches and you're still not getting to where you want to be, don't be afraid to leave. Don't be afraid to, like you said, to reinvent yourself and come back. But there's other places out there for people right now. And I think if it stays the way it's going and this AEW All Elite Wrestling really does take off, I think you will see that because the Young Bucks and Cody are guys that are in the business and they know, Cody Rhodes has become the biggest name because he was able to be himself. Like he's the biggest star on the indies right now because he came out, he left WWE, he was in the Zack Ryder spot, right? He was toiling around in Stardust and he's like, you know what? There's better for me out there. And he hung out with the Young Bucks and he made a list. And man, that was 2 years ago? The guy's everywhere. He's probably a bajillionaire by now, making more money than ever before in WWE. So, and the other thing that I would do if I was them, I would change the flipping colors on Monday Night Raw. It's been the same Raw set forever. You got to get rid of the red and black. It looks the same as it did 10 years ago. SmackDown looks okay, and I will give Ring of Honor credit because when we were there at Final Battle, you noticed they changed the mat, correct, to a light gray?
Yeah.
When you watched it back on TV, what did you think?
I like the black personally, but I mean, at least, they're doing some things like they changed the ring apron and stuff like that. And they've always been updating the entrance and their set as well to kind of make it a little bit more, better, flashy and better production and things like that. But yeah, there's a cosmetic change to the television shows and the pay-per-views would be good as well. I think that's, something that makes it look like a fresh product. If you have the fresh appearance and you have fresh faces on television, then I think that's a step in the right direction. And the question, I guess, again, it comes back to the beginning of, can they really do it? Will they really do it? To me, until I see them doing it and they sustain it for an extended period of time, I'm not going to believe that they're going to really change. And I think they're going to go back to the same, thing where we see Big Show and Kane and Randy Orton and Jerry Mysterio and Jeff Hardy and all these guys that have been around forever and ever and ever. The Universal title is still on Brock Lesnar. I mean, so there's just they really need to make some significant headway in that regard. And we'll see if they do it starting in January, but I'm kind of operating under the notion right now of I'll believe it when I see it, because they've got a lot of sponsors and things like that they have to cater to, and all the self-appreciation segments that they have about charities and all those.
This is the first time ever the women have main evented on a Monday Night Raw when it's below 32 degrees outside on the third day of the fourth month of December.
Yeah. Again, that's like, I'm cool with, you giving people different opportunities. And I thought that on, at TLC, they main evented with the SmackDown Women's Championship match, the TLC match between Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Asuka. And that's what they should have done, because that was the best angle going on TV. So it's good. They can absolutely main event with the women, or they can main event with the cruiserweights if they want, if that's the best angle.
It's the best angle.
Right. You have to go with that. Yeah, they went with that, and they had Rollins Ambrose second from the top, and that match kind of pooped the bed, unfortunately. And
speaking of pooping the bed, if you don't want to be the one pooping the bed this holiday season, visit our friends over at BlueChew.com. Don't forget to put in the promo code WPP, and you just pay $5 shipping and handling for your free order of Blue Chew. Joe, listen, it's getting late. I got to get some sleep. I'm going to see The Grinch tomorrow on Broadway.
Good for you, buddy. That's way to be. Good husbanding.
It's all about being married is, man. So sacrifice.
Before
you sacrifice your love life this year, Blue Chew. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to do that.
Before we get out of here, why don't you let everybody know where they can find us on the internet?
It was on my way out, bro. Come on. I'm better than that.
I'm sorry.
There's a plethora of different places you could find us. Facebook.com/allnightlongwp, at allnightlongwp on Twitter, on Instagram. The Wrestling Perspective Podcast Network. Find us on part of the YouTube. They have the Blog Talk Radio, and go to Apple iTunes. Hit subscribe, hit like. Go to YouTube, All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. Subscribe. We're like 15 away from 100. If we get to 100, we're going to give away something cool. Joe's going to come to your house and wash your kitchen. Right?
That's not going to happen. No.
But true story, we actually have given away Monday Night Raw tickets before. So
we have done that, yes. So, I mean, there's anything can happen on the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast, as they used to say in the WWE back in 1994. So
it's all deadly. Another episode of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast is in your books. He is the host. He is the stallion. I'm the co-host. I'm the enforcer. And another week, we're tapping out.